She's like, I'm not doing this anymore. You do the sales calls. I'm not doing anything.
Legit.
I'm just going to lay in bed.
I just think you could manage your time better and you put too much on your plate. And I just think that next time we just do one event, one 3-day. And I was like, no. Today's a really special episode because not only is it me in this episode, it's also my beautiful Lommel, my best friend, my partner. This is Jordan. Welcome, Jordan, to Say It With You.
Hey, everyone. I'm Jordan.
I want to share more about when you've been in your CEO moments. When Luna was sick, to be honest, I found that I wasn't in my CEO self. So you actually held me quite a lot in that moment when I was struggling.
Tam has this innate ability to show up no matter what. She can be run down, feeling sick. She'll still do the sales call. She'll still show up for her coach, for her clients, and she still shows up on her reels. Is a machine that just doesn't stop, and that's where I see you step up as a CEO.
And we are back with Say It With Your Chest. Today's a really special episode because not only is it me in this episode, it's also my beautiful Lommel, my best friend, my partner, who is working within the business with TMC, and we're doing a special episode on saying it with our chest as a couple, things that are coming up in business, hot topics in the business now, having rants, having our point of views, and also just some of the things we've worked through.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, I'm actually really excited. This is our
first official podcast together. Well, we did one back at home one time.
I did introduce you,
a
Bubby.
relationship type one.
This is Jordan. Welcome, Jordan, to Say It With You.
Hey, everyone. I'm Jordan.
We did do a couples one for Keys the Queendom.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, you and I have joined forces.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
We have.
And this is our first podcast together. So, yeah, this is going to be very new for us. But I feel what I'm really called to talk about today, and I know this is big for you too, I thought it would be nice to start this episode is a little bit of some lightness and laughter about working together.
Yeah.
What do you want to begin with, honey?
Yeah, so I guess let's talk about what it's really like to work with each other as a partnership in business as well as in relationship, in love and life. We've had some pretty dumb moments in fights and stuff. So I guess probably what's one of the dumbest fights that we've had, do you think?
No, I think for me this month, if we're thinking of this month, I have probably been very hangry and very sensitive since I've been in my TOM. When Tom comes over, time of the month. I'm bad, but it always gets us. It actually surprises us every time because you can tell now there's certain patterns. What are some of the pretty
Yeah, you get triggered quite easily when it's that TOM. But yeah, more so if you've got a full day or whatever and you don't get fed, it's like, why haven't you fed me? I need to be fed.
We have this rule now. It's such a silly thing. These are the little things we're learning about our relationship now working together. As Jordan's the behind-the-scenes man, the ads man, and I'm on the forefront with sales calls, coaching calls. And when I've got calls back-to-back, I've always said to Jordan, and we used to have our assistant say this to Jordan, make sure you feed Tam.
Make sure you feed Tam.
Make sure you feed
Thanks,
Tam.
Tamara.
Thank you, Tamara. And do you think he remembers to feed me?
Oh, well, that's my ADHD for you.
That is something we're going to talk about as well today, your ADHD.
We're both ADHD, by the way.
I'm undiagnosed. So, yeah, it's feeding Tam. And so that's probably been our silliest fights this month and more reoccurring. And when I've got back-to-back calls and there's no window for me to eat, which also comes back to structure and business.
All the times where you wake up like, I'm not doing it today. I'm not doing my sales calls. I'm like, you're doing your sales calls.
I've had my moments of where.
Yes, you have.
They've been very big. And I think what would be really nice for the listeners is when I want to share more about when you've been in your CEO moments for the business. And I think it's great to share the CEO moments of each other. And for Jordan, I think the biggest one for me was when Luna was sick, to be honest. I found that I wasn't in my CEO self. I had to make some pretty big calls, and you know that if anything holds me back in business or even just holds me back in being that, I guess, that big self, I know it's when families or loved ones or fur babies are hurting. So you actually held me quite a lot in that moment when I was struggling to show up, because I had to, look after Luna, but also be on the forefront with the business. But I felt quite timid and quite sensitive. And I remember a lot of the times in that moment you took some of the coaching calls, you've even implemented some of the stuff into training. I know when I'm very emotional, you step up in your CEO self. That's something I've noticed working together when I'm down, especially when Luna got sick. And for those of you who don't know, she had a seizure. In that moment, I felt you stepped up as a CEO. That was really big for me.
Babe.
No.
I think that's the first time you've actually told me that.
Oh, shit. That's another thing I struggle with is positive reassurance to Jordan. We're working on that.
Yeah, so I probably would say for you, the way when I see you step up into your CEO is really on the showing up front. Tam has this innate ability to show up no matter fucking what. So, and that's a real inspiration that I see in her. She can be run down, feeling sick, and she doesn't get sick very often, but when she does, you can tell she needs the downtime, but she'll still do the sales call. She'll still show up for for her clients, and she still shows up on her reels. She just is a machine that just doesn't stop, and that's where I see you step up as a CEO and just ensuring that your business continues to run without pausing.
It's funny because of hearing that out loud, I always find I'm my own worst critic, and I don't see that. I see that as I'm 0% in those moments where I feel run down, that I'm not doing anything, or I feel very lazy. I feel like I'm not doing enough. It's actually quite nice to hear that. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
And then I want to share when you've been in your CBF moments.
Can't be fucked.
Oh, my God. We have moments of CEO where we're so on and we're tunnel focused and we're driver mode. We have this analogy we use for our clients. And then there's CBF mode. And Jordan was recently, this is painting the picture. So we just finished off the back of our one-day event, and apparently I didn't tell Jordan that I had mapped out another one day after that, and another 3-day event after the 1 day, another 1-day event after the 3-day, and then I had also
another 3 day, and then
the Byron
TEDx, and then the
Byron Bay,
and then the TEDx, all in a 3-month space.
I was so a big trait of mine is do all the things. I just want to do more. And there was this moment in the kitchen where, because we've been working hard. I don't think a lot of people see that or know the depths of hard work we've done. And there was a moment where Jordan was in his undies in the kitchen and he had one of those erratic, and Jordan, it takes a lot for Jordan to lose his shit. And he just literally in his Bonds underwear was sitting in the kitchen. He goes, I just think you could manage your time better and you put too much on your plate. And I just think that next time we just do one event, one 3-day. And I was like, no. And that was your CBF. But it was funny because it was just you having a little rant of losing your little... I wish I had a photo of it.
Yeah, because I remember because we just literally done so much hard work for the 1 day. And then Tam's like, oh yeah, in 8 weeks we're doing another one. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean we're doing another one? She's like, yeah, we're doing the 3-day. I was like, we haven't even had time to prep for the ads or anything. We haven't built a landing page, and you now want us to do all this work on top of the work that we've got to do. And she's like, yep. And, oh, by the way, after that, about 8 weeks later, we got another 1 day. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding? I just lost it. I was like, so we got this, plus this and this. I was like, nah, not happening. She's like, we're going to do it. I'm like, no.
I remember when you said that, and I was like, but I've told you. And he goes, when did you tell me? And I looked at him and I'm like, it's on the website.
Yeah,
and it was on the website. And
like,
I told my team, I told Aileen, but I forgot to tell him. So that was an ADHD moment and I felt so bad. And recently, which we'll talk about in another episode, we've now moved the 3-day in August because, yeah, well,
Tam realised.
I realised I learnt my lesson. I took too much on my plate. But I think it's a common thing in terms of when couples work together, and I'm not one to give advice on relationship or dynamics in working, but we have had to learn the importance of communication and just being on the same page. That's something I'm learning more of. That was your CBF moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Tam's CBF moment. I would have to say it was when we were working extremely hard and
Still are.
over the last, this like the last 2 months is all right. Like going back a while ago where we were just like hustle mode, getting back on top of things.
Yeah.
And I was like, Tam, you can't do this. You can't spend this money. You can't do that. And after about 2 months of like cutting her off,
legit,
she's like, I'm not doing this anymore. You do the sales calls. I'm not doing anything.
Legit.
I'm just going to lay in bed. I'm like, Tam, you've got 3 sales calls a day. You're doing the sales calls.
I just didn't want to do it because I had to make a point.
I'm not doing anything. I'm not your, what did you say, a slave or something like that.
I was like, don't be my dad. That is what I said to you.
Don't be my dad. I'm not doing this. It was hilarious. And I was like, okay. And then anyway, sure enough, sales calls come. She walks into the room, gets on the sales call. But then it was like we realised,
Oh, hang on.
We had a mentor coaching call, and he's like, yeah, look, women are different to men. You've got to give them a little bit of what do you say? A little bit of leisure, like not leisure time.
He kind of.
You got to give him a little bit on a regular basis.
Well, let's just paint the picture right now because it sounds like Daddy has come in. But no, there was a point where we're working so hard and we had to cut back on spendings. And when I say we, I, because I love to spend all my money. And so that was a big thing for me. But it got to the point because we were working so hard, I'd be on the calls and I'm like, bags down here, my hair looked like shit, like I just didn't feel good. And our mentor Josh, thanks Josh, stood up for me. And now I'm getting my hair done every week now. And look at me, I feel great. But so, honey, I apologise for my CBF moment.
Oh, it's all good. Life happens.
What I want to talk about now is more about the hot topic that we've been really excited to talk about from a place of leadership, but it's more so when it comes to understanding why clients aren't doing the work. And we're obviously here to help our clients get to, a certain revenue goal, consistent 20K months, help them with their messaging and branding, right? And what's been a big thing at the moment in terms of, in general, is more about why are clients not doing the work? So I kind of wanted to start the segue with that. And then obviously, you jump in, my love. And that's where I find right now people are either curious or committed. And I think that's been really interesting where coming off the back of the work we've done, the work we've had to do in order for us to get to where we want to be, and now we've got so many beautiful clients and we love them so much, but I know a lot of people who are listening can relate to this, that sometimes there's a moment where their clients are not doing the work. So this is for anyone who's a coach, business owner, or people who have clients and you're probably wondering why they're not doing the work. I'd love to hear your thoughts about that, around what you've noticed a little bit more about that, and what do you feel needs to change, or maybe it's more about the tough love, or yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. I would, in the experience that I've had, little experience that I've had so far, I've only been in this for like a year and a half. However, like I do see a commonality between people who do the work and people who like want to do the work. They come in, they're like, hey, yeah, I'm so keen to do this. And then every excuse under the sun comes up life gets in the way. Oh, this is happening,
Yes.
this is happening. And it's like, okay, well, do you want a business? Because what makes you think life's going to stop when you build your business? Are you still going to have those moments in life? And as I was mentioning before, where I see you step into your CEO, is like in those moments, you just keep fucking going.
Yeah.
And that's the mentality that it takes. And I really feel that people have this idea of entrepreneurship or owning a business, and they think that it's going to be easy. And
Yeah.
when they realize just how committed you have to be, especially in the beginning
Yeah.
of business, like that first year, like unless you're fucking driving it hard, like you're not going to get that business off the ground, because where are your clients going to come from? Like, where are you going to, you've got to build an audience, you've got to build trust, you've got to build connection, like all these things come into play. And if you're half-assing it online and just showing up when you feel like it, no one's going to fucking care.
Yeah.
No one's going to
I
connect.
agree.
And then they realize, oh crap, like it's so hard. Like, yeah, it's fucking hard. That's why only 1% of the fucking world have businesses, and most people stay in a job.
Yeah.
Like there was a point where, you know, I wanted to go back to my job when we first started doing business together. I was like, fuck, this is hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like when you stick to it and you go through it every day, like anything that you learn and the frustrations, it becomes second nature. And then eventually that stress that you were stressed about, you realize, oh, okay, it's happening again, but cool, whatever. And then that stress, you build that stress resilience in business. And if you can break through those walls and just commit, I think people would find it a lot easier to just to do the work. I think they need to, when they come into a coaching space or they want to build a business or whatever, when they commit to it, they just have to either do some personal development.
Love that. Yeah.
Or listen to like the greats, like listen to, you know, Grant Cardone, listen to Arnold Schwarzenegger, listen to Dwayne Johnson, like all these speeches that are out there, and they tell you just how hard it fucking is to start. But look at them now. If you really want the dream, you'll chase after it and do the work.
I love what you shared about that, because it is very hard at the beginning of the business. And I was reflecting on, I said this today on our school portal about reflecting when I first started. I had this, I still have it on my phone. I had my alarm clock set up from 4:55. I don't know why it was 4:55. Maybe it was 4:45 actually. And it would be empire building mode. And I religiously, when I first started my business, and this is when I became more in that commitment phase, because prior to that, I thought I was committed. And I remember the moment, and I see the difference now, because back then I remember I was in the fitness space, I was doing the work, and I remember I used to always say, nothing's working, no clients are coming, why are they successful? And I just realized I was constantly naming, blaming, and shaming and pointing the finger and comparing. And I realized until I hired my first mentor, stepped into the personal development space and watched so many YouTube videos, it just clicked for me. So I remember I made this commitment on, I'm going to add in this extra layer of learning in the beginning of the morning. And I did it religiously for a year. And I became really committed to that, because I remember having to catch myself of, oh shit, I've literally been just like blaming the world and really had everything to do with me. But I had to say that to myself. It was really uncomfortable. And I think for those of you who are listening, it's finding that, one, it's the realization first, but then when you decide to be committed to the work, I'd love to give some advice on that, and I'd love to hear what your advice is. You mentioned podcast, watching YouTube. I've always wanted to give people the work that I've done so that you guys can fast track, but it's in those moments that I find if you are a beginner in business, there is a layer of a lot of work. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. But the way you want to start doing it is making sure you tick the boxes on the 3 things that I believe is important: sales, training, marketing, and speaking. And that means more about getting uncomfortable, speaking about your goals, speaking about your business, focusing on learning sales. I read Sell Like Crazy by Sabi Subri. I would watch religiously, different types of sales trainers. I would listen to that. And then every day in the morning, that empire building mode, I would watch a learning and just write. So they're the three things I found at the beginning of a business to focus on with commitment. And coming back to people not doing the work, it's not to say we're like, you guys are lazy. It's more so, hey, you're now deciding to come into building this business, to building your empire. Something needs to change. And that might just be you think you're doing enough, but you just need to do that little bit more. I'd love to hear what comes up for you.
Yeah. So this brings me to a talk by Grant Cardone. And he specifically talks, and this is part of his branding, is like 10X. And he talks about like how much effort it takes to, get to $1 million a year. And he goes, basically, like, if you're earning like $10,000 a month now, and you want to get to $1 million, he goes, you're gonna have to 10x. If you want that 10x, you're gonna have to 10x your amount of effort. So if you're doing the bare minimum now, you're gonna have to 10x that to get the results you want, because that's what's required. And there's no ifs or buts about that. The other really powerful part that I used to love about Grant Cardone and listen to him like religiously was everything in life, whatever happens to you, take responsibility for it.
Love that.
Like everything that happens. He talks about this thing. He goes, if you get sick, he goes, well, you bought the ticket to go on that plane. You sat with 200 people in a plane where like people could have been sick. Well, that's your responsibility. You got sick because you chose to do that decision. So anything that happens in life to you, a really powerful way to get out of that victim mentality, and this worked for me, was to take responsibility for everything that happens. And that way, any result you get is your results because you made those choices. And if you do that, you will succeed in business. And that's where sort of like about 5 years ago before I met you, I was starting to get into all that. And I was like, yeah, okay, these results that I'm getting out of e-commerce, that's me. I didn't push blame on anyone. I had many mentors. Some got results, some I didn't get results, but I never went to my mentors and go, oh, you're fucking didn't help me.
I've had that many investments in business coaches, mentors, and they've been great lessons, but it's so true. I've had to, when you said it's my responsibility, I've had to learn the hard way too. It's like, it is what it is. And that took me ages to learn, having the responsibility in every decision I make, even with, building the business now. And even when we fight, even when there's issues with our teams, issues with clients, it's still our responsibility, 100%. So it's again, it's an involvement over time. Yeah. So I really love that you share that, I also find, coming back to taking responsibility, when we're in a new level of discomfort and growth, and I've done this multiple times, more so with money, because this is where you come in, it's self-sabotaging your growth. Because, again, why we find it so important to, get a mentor in business, but also getting a mentor at the same time, or again, learning the personal development space that's going to allow you to recognize when you're self-sabotaging. And I'm the first person to put my hand up on very, very often I've done it, and I always know this because Jordan will pull me up on it, and it's such a great thing that you can do that with me. But I think in terms of when it comes to clients who are stuck and not wanting to do the work or not committed, there may be some level of self-sabotage coming in. How to recognize that? It could be in so many ways, when things start to get quite good, when maybe money starts coming in. This was mine. I remember money would be starting to come in, and because growing up, I wasn't, I wasn't used to having money. I was from a poor background. My way of self-sabotaging was through spending my money. And also because I didn't know much about holding money, I was one to spend. I also remember when the more money I made, there was this moment of subconsciously that I would self-sabotage it by throwing a hand grenade in, which things like going out and partying, taking, going out and just being reckless. And I realized those patterns and behaviors was when things were starting to get good and I wasn't used to it, I'd find a way to fuck it up. And I had to work so, this, my love, so hard on that. And so I find when people are in that sort of state of stepping into something new, another level, another devil, they say, we start to find ways of self-sabotage, procrastination, not showing up on our stories, not talking to our clients, not having those awkward conversations, not being able to ask for money, not being able to receive money, not being able to do the work because it feels hard. They're moments of self-sabotage. Now, we're not perfect because we still recognize behaviors like that. But I would love for you guys just to look at where in your business have you started to self-sabotage? And when we recognize that, what do you feel like you need to do about it? Or more importantly, what is the shift or momentum to change? Sometimes it's owning it, and it's also maybe, I always like to say, use it as leverage, recognizing it. Oh, there's that little devil on my shoulder again. I have mentors for those self-sabotaging behaviors now. We're very lucky to have them. But maybe this is an opportunity for you guys now to look at where in your life are you self-sabotaging, because it's how you do one thing, it's how you do everything.
Yeah, and one of mine is procrastination, as you know. So
Why do you reckon?
Don't know. But I still notice it even today. There's certain things where I'm like, I need to do that. And then I'll procrastinate on it and I won't do it today. So,
what's mine?
I'll tell you what mine is. Mine's calling the leads.
What is?
I don't even.
You don't want to call the leads.
I don't even. Once I'm on the call, I don't even care that I'm on the call.
Yeah,
but
interesting.
I do not. I procrastinate on it. I'm like, I know I have to call them when they come in, and then I'm like, oh, I'll just leave it another hour. Oh, I'll just do this other task first. Oh, I'll just do this other one, and then next day I'm like, fuck, I didn't call those leads yesterday. And then now we've got Rolf doing most of it.
We've got, yeah, that's how you solve self-sabotage and procrastination. You get someone else to do it. We hired my little brother, Rolfie. Shout out to you, Rolf, as our appointment setter. But because Jordan, it could be something, help him to work on.
Yeah.
But it's great realization,
We all have it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it can be hard to recognize, and it can take the other person, such as myself with you, to recognize the pattern. And that's probably where you've got to start looking, is in the patterns. So if you've got a pattern of not completing something, such as myself.
Or I do all the things.
Then you've got a pattern of self-sabotage, and that needs to be addressed. And as you noticed with your spending habits, every time you had money come in, you'd go, oh, I'm just going to go, blow it all.
Yeah.
And then be stuck again at fighting for survival. And maybe that self-sabotage was a pattern for you to be like, oh, but I feel safe in that survival mode.
That's true. That's so true. It's normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, hang on, I feel security. Oh, that's not safe for me. I'm going back to survival mode.
Yeah, that's funny.
So I think it's seeing those patterns and then working out what it is, why you're repeating those patterns.
Yeah. No, I get it. I definitely think that's the big thing for us. So self-sabotage is a big, big, big topic. All in all, I just want to leave with this, that hiring a coach doesn't mean you stop doing the reps. It means it amplifies them. So I feel like it's so important when you work with someone or hire someone that it's also your responsibility to do the work to amplify the results that you want based on the work that you do. But it's also the coach's job to, support them and mentor them. I always like to say to my clients, I will be your biggest cheerleader, but you need to meet me in the finish line. You need to meet me at the finish line.
Yeah, that's right. No coach is going to hold your hand.
No.
No coach.
But can I also just, before we wrap this little bit up, is I've been in containers. I hate that word. I've been in group coaching containers where they codepend and manipulate. And we don't want that in our space. We want people to feel self-led, empowered,
Yeah.
And I think that's where people get confused with codependency and the coach doing all the work when really it's amplifying together.
Well, that's right. I mean, Could you imagine, you spend a year with a coach and they've held your hand the whole way and then it's time for you to leave and then you jump out and then, oh shit, I got to do it all myself. Wouldn't that feel foreign and horrible? Then you're like, shit, I'm not confident because I've relied on this person the whole time. So, a coach that doesn't hold your hand is also helping you build your resilience and confidence.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's where the trust piece comes in. You need to learn to trust your intuition and trust trust yourself to make better decisions, and rightfully, because you also need to learn to make decisions where you learn from mistakes. There's nothing wrong with making mistakes too,
100%.
which is part of
Fail forward.
part of half the reason why we're doing this episode. Welcome to my TED Talk. What I don't think we've done, and this is it's not really that long ago, to be honest, is sharing a little bit about the stuff that was happening behind the scenes when we moved up to Queensland. That was pretty hard. We actually nearly broke up. We've only recently spoken about it at my live event, we being me, but I obviously think it's great that we bring it in our podcast because there were some pretty dark times that me and Jordan, you and I obviously experienced, and I think it's a big thing that I think a lot of listeners want to hear about because the intention behind us working together was purely because we were so excited. And I made that decision where I was like, I really wanted you to work within the business. And it was probably like February last year?
January 2024.
Yeah, where we made that decision. You left your Boilermaker job and it was a big song and dance. Do you remember?
It was.
And we started with Taki and then all of a sudden shit started to suck. And Jordan and I went through a really hectic, really stressful period last year of working together.
That was a lot to navigate.
It was so bad.
There was resentment, there was working together, there was arguments, fights.
We laugh about it now. Yeah. I still get emotional about it. Yeah. It was pretty bad. But
and then a move in between.
Yeah. Because that's the thing, we really wanted to talk about this because no one saw, and I guess we didn't really want to share what was happening behind the scenes. And I never want to be that couple online where we pretend we're happy. And I don't think we were pretending we were happy. We were sharing we were doing a big move. And I think we were sharing that we still unconditionally loved each other. But so much of our past wounds came up when we started working together. And it was probably because both of us have such deep wounds. Yours is from losing trust. Mine's about my dad. And, think about like all of those, literally think about like a business partnership and a relationship partnership all in one. And you had this big vision of what the business is going to be, the relationship is going to be. And literally the universe is like, well, let's see if you guys can handle all of this, motherfucker. And yeah, it was pretty bad. I think I had a big moment. I shared this on stage where I lost myself. I lost my shit at one point. We had this big fight and I came out looking like Samara, not Tamara, I am Tamara. Samara from the ring with my hair down. I was trembling. My hands were convoluted in like this. And I was like, you're a fucking cunt. You're a dickhead. Why are you, like, what did I say?
Oh, there was so many things.
Yeah. But that was sad.
That was quite hurtful. But yeah, I just remember you coming out, kicking the lounge. You made me lose my shit, you cunt.
That was prior. That was another time. It's all right, we've blocked it out.
Yeah, no, we had some pretty trying times. It was, I was going to sleep on the lounge and,
we had a therapist.
I can't remember what it was about or anything anymore.
No, me neither. But I find the biggest shift, I think, was there were so many things. I think we started counselling. We started couples relationships therapy.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
I remember that, and that was online for both of us. And I think we were understanding the layers of parts of, like, things that we weren't understanding. For Jordan, he felt inadequate in the business. I felt resentment. So there was a lot of, like, roles and responsibilities, right?
Yeah, there was a big shift in the dynamic between basically, let's say, who wears the pants. So obviously, you know, coming from my trade, being the provider, and then like coming in and
Yeah.
working under Tam, Tam had no idea how to navigate myself when it came to giving direction.
Yeah.
So she would bark orders and emasculate me in that way. If something went wrong, it was like full on blow ups. And me coming from a trade where I was respected and, you know, when shit went wrong, it was communicated in a professional manner. I was like, don't fucking talk to me like this. Like, I'm not your fucking employee for a start. So I would backlash. And then, then there was, you know, mishandlings of business financials and all that sort of stuff that was coming into play, and both of us then feeling unsafe with the business finances and how it would support us both.
Yeah.
So there was like a lot of tension, a lot of heaviness in the relationship and in the business. And at one point it was like, shit, like, what do we do? It was, do we, you know, do I go back to work and bring this all back and let the business go with just Tam? Or like, are we even meant to be? Because like we're fighting so much. There was, just constant arguing and bickering. And then, sort of we got into the counselling side of things. We started to see, okay, well, here's a wound that's coming up for Tam. Here's a wound that's coming up for me. We just started working through it and started to understand each other a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then we always had wanted to move to Queensland. And it might have been a silly move at the time and us trying to escape, but at the same time, where we're living just didn't have a good vibe. I love DY, by the way. It was just the apartment we were in. It's cold.
Mouldy.
You know, it was a little bit mouldy. It was old.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just didn't have like a very nice vibe. And obviously when we moved to Queensland into a new place, it was beautiful. It's up high, heaps of sun, and just made a huge difference just in that, just the environment alone. And then, then we started working as a team.
It wasn't as easy as that.
Tam started talking to me as a partner in business.
I'm trying to think what was the turning point for me, because that's
I think
where
it
I'm
was
trying
Ruby.
to. I was thinking that Ruby,
It was Ruby.
my mentor, she's my kinesiologist.
And I was against it at first too, because it was like another 14 grand. And I'm like, fuck, we can't take another hit like this. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, actually, that's true. I remember
we already paid like 30 to Taki.
Yeah. So we invested in a mentor for business, and that was Taki. It was a 30K investment at a time that, you know, you just left.
It made no sense.
We had no money.
We're like, shit, we got to make this work.
We got to make it work. So we were hustling. You left your 250, 300K business.
Job, yeah.
Yeah, job. Started working with me, and I was like so certain it was all going to work out. And I'm glad it didn't, for the fact of what we've learned and what we experienced. But I also then invested in a mentor kinesiologist, which, for those of you who don't know what it is, I can't even explain it. Look it up, because she's amazing. Actually, I would just recommend her in general. Ruby's honestly the one that saved our relationship as well as our business too, because obviously you can have all the strategy in the world, I believe. This is our belief, by the way, but I think she was the gateway that has helped us build our business relationship, our intimate relationship. And that was the turning point. And I'm still working with her now, and I've paid for her for a year. So I find, coming back to what we went through, both of us had wounds of feeling safe. There was roles and responsibilities. We didn't know who was who and whose role was what. And then the third was, you know, like the financial stress. You know, you even started working somewhere else to to support the business because, you know.
Yeah, I even started doing my own thing. I started washing windows.
Yeah, actually, no one knows this side of
Yeah.
things, guys. We haven't talked about this.
Yeah.
Jordan was doing window washing in our apartment buildings because, you know, it got that bad. It got that scary for us because, yeah, we were just
Our organic just started dropping.
Yeah.
And we had no ads running. We had no idea how to run the ads at the time. And our organic just dried up.
Yeah.
So it was like shit.
It was.
I got a casual job.
Yeah.
Which I'm still there today. I actually enjoy it. I do 2 days a week.
Yes. So so Jordan's still there 1 or 2 days.
1
maybe?
to 2 days a week. Yeah, but it's good. Gets me out of the house and.
No, be honest. You don't want to be with me. It gets you out of my hair.
But yeah, no, it's good. And then, but yeah, at a point there, I was getting cash jobs, cleaning windows just to give us a little extra cash and a bit of breathing space. So,
do you know what's funny? And I'm actually grateful you talk about this now. I was quite ashamed about that for a while, not because of you doing that, but for me as a business owner, you know, I started on such a high. And I think that was a big lesson for me because I started on such a high with the business, grew quite fast.
Yeah, your first year in business was epic.
Incredible, nearly $500,000. And then because of that and obviously all my money stuff and my money wounds.
It's only going up from here.
I literally thought that. I'm like, I'm just going to keep going up. And it went down.
Tam, it doesn't work like that.
It was bad.
She's like, no, it's only going up from here.
And it was great lessons. But I had a lot of shame because obviously the transition of building the business, promoting, you know, this growth to then be like, fuck, you know, you had to clean windows at our beautiful apartment buildings, take up another job. And yeah, it was pretty hard for me, but I love talking about it because I think people need to hear this stuff, you know.
Because I don't think people understand how much goes into building a business. And sometimes you just got to do what you got to do.
But that's what I learned from this experience. I didn't feel shame about now holding that and admitting that. The biggest thing I used to feel shame and fear about that and regret was telling my friends, but they were so supportive and really open and really grateful for me to share it. And now we get to share it with the world because, you know, I think a lot of people do need to understand, like, there is sacrifices people need to make. And that's one thing I really want to hone in on this right now. It's like we didn't realize what we needed to do until we were in the thick of it. So sacrificing our time, money, private health, hair, going out, holidays, my heart. But Jordan's sacrifice was doing all this other stuff behind the scenes that no one knew about, right? But I hear so many other businesses doing that, right? And I now see that and I love hearing that because it's not about all the good things in business. It's like there's stuff that we had to fucking go hard on to make it work, you know?
Yeah. Stuff people don't see on social media.
Exactly. And now all over the news.
They look so good.
But I used to do that too.
Fine.
I used to do that too. I'd go on these expensive holidays, which, you know, I thought, I'm doing so well. I can go on these holidays. And Jordan's like, there's seasons in business. You need to make sure you're saving. And I was like, woohoo.
That's a good topic, by the way. If anyone's listening here, go listen to Jim Rohn. He talks about the seasons of business and life. It is a rule of thumb, and it is a great lesson to anyone who doesn't understand the seasons of life and business.
And I think, again, coming back to this topic, don't be afraid to sacrifice things. And coming from our own experience, don't be afraid to share it because, to be honest, people relate more to this type of stuff, I find now, than anything.
100%.
Now, before we wrap up this episode, I want to talk into actual strategies in marketing. I know you're excited about this. What's not working as a strategy in marketing and ads?
So it's not about what's working. It's more about like what's not working.
What are people lying about?
What people are lying about.
My bad.
It's like it pisses me off to no end because I hear people going, oh yeah, like I'm going to show you how to get like 13 cents per lead, you know, and it's like, yeah, that's all good and well if you just want a fucking email address. But like, what's a fucking email address? Like, yeah, okay, build your email list, but to be fair, like how many people are actually coming from your email list into your DMs or into your scheduled calls? Like, I don't know, for us, like, fuck all. Like most of our well, pretty much all our scheduled calls come from either ads or organic.
Yeah.
And almost none come from emails. So, and we've got a pretty big email list. So,
Do we? How much? Oh, 6.
4.5 now.
I thought it was 5.
You're counting all the ones that
Don't
bounce
reply. Motherfuckers.
But active, yeah, it's like 4. But anyway, and then you see these people like, oh yeah, I'll show you how to run ads, and we're getting leads for 13 cents a lead. Okay, cool, but what's the quality of that? Like, we are happy to pay, anywhere between like $150 to $250 per scheduled call. And now not all of those end up as a client, but we get a good 30 to 50% close rate on a good week and a bad week. And that makes up for those, that cost per scheduled call. Like if you're, pulling in 4.5 to 6K per sign up and you're spending $250 per call and you're getting, say, $1,000 cash collected on 50% of those, then your ads pay for themselves. So you'd be probably more than happy to pay $500 per schedule if that was the numbers, right? And it's the same with like what Josh taught us as well, is like, he pays like $300 to $280 on his scheduled calls, and his program is less than ours.
Yeah.
And he's happy to pay that. So the good thing is about that is you're getting real leads who actually want your services, not some freaking wannabe or just even a bot who's just putting in an email address for the sake of it, and you're never going to contact them anyway, and you're paying for that. Like, there's a difference between a good quality lead and a shit lead.
So true.
And I'd rather be paying for the top quality leads and paying that $250 than paying 13 cents a lead and having an email list of 20,000 people who never are going to buy my shit.
I forgot to add, because I don't think people know your skills since coming into the business was ads. And so this is where you've seen such a big learning and pattern. Jordan's a very good, he's got talent to seeing patterns. It's almost your analytical, logical Asperger's brain kicks in and you're like, do, 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 do. So you've obviously mastered ads now. And remember when we were sharing our story before of what helped us get out of the slump?
Yeah.
It was ads.
It was ads.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again,
and of course, like the people
I invested in a time where it made absolutely no sense. I was like literally down to my last 10K and I'm like, I have this much left.
Yep.
It's all or nothing
literally.
Right now. So.
We invested in Jenna. We invested in Josh. We invested in our ads mentor. Like fucking, we were like, we're a sucker for pain.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's why.
That's exactly what brought us out.
Yeah.
So now it's just about scaling, and we've got a system in place.
Yeah, we're teaching our students now.
Yeah, teaching our students now exactly the same frameworks, and it's great. It's a predictable model. And it's just now we just know how. Like, it's great to know now that we can go. Okay, if I put X amount of dollars in, I get X amount of dollars out.
It's really. I never thought it was. So I've always tried to figure things out my own way. You know this, but it's so true that data doesn't lie. That's so true from an organic, but from a paid standpoint too. Something that we've been really big on with our students in Empire, that tracking your numbers is so crucial. Yeah, that's a big lie at the moment with ads. We're seeing a lot of people. The other thing I'm noticing too from my side is people come to us and like, oh, should I be doing paid ad first?
Yeah.
And we're going, no. I just realised how far that was. You need to be doing organic, I believe. Organic marketing is your way of first understanding your lead flow, your lead nurture, your audience, your messaging. And right now, Jordan and I get fucking fed up because people come to us and we're like, oh, I've put all this money into ads and this coach told me to do that. And we're like, where is your messaging and why are you spending all this money when you could first focus on the one thing that you need to learn the most is your
100%.
Messaging. So
100%.
That's been my rant of what so many people are lying about right now.
Yeah. You know? So like you said, we've had a couple of people come to us and they're like, oh, we're doing the ads and like it's never worked. I was like, yeah, because you haven't worked on who you're talking to. And there is also like a way to structure your ads that works for you, not necessarily the same way we do ours, but for you, there's going to be like a winning ad strategy. And like for us, you know, we've got our winning ad. We've been running it for 4 or 5 months now.
Can we share how much that fucking took for us to do though? We were at wit's ends because I'm a very impatient person. And this is not to say it's going to take forever for you guys, but it just comes back down to messaging, right? And really getting good at your message. But I feel like you were so good at recognizing that because you're like, it's just not working. It's just not working. It's not coming yet. And then bang, you got it. You did that.
Thanks, babe.
Yeah, that was you.
Yeah, no,
It was so cool.
It's a definitely something that you got to continue editing and testing for ads. Definitely. But yeah, it's a great system once it works. And I saw a guy there posting a couple of days ago about Meta, and he goes, "Oh, you know, Meta's out." Like, he's a guy teaching ads, by the way, and he's like, "Here's my STS framework that'll, you know, generate X amount of, you know, money, leads, whatever."
I don't know what that stands for.
I don't know either, but that was his frameworks. And he's like, "Oh, you know, because Facebook is just out to get your money. It's programmed to do that." I'm like, it doesn't make any sense, man. Like, if it's just out to get you money, if Facebook doesn't make you money, you're not going to continue on. You're not going to spend more money with them. Why the fuck would they want to do that? They want you to win, so you spend more money with them.
Yeah.
And increase your ad spend. Why the fuck would they make a system that takes your money and doesn't give you the fucking returns? Like, that's dumb.
That's how I feel with people with organic marketing, and they're like, "Oh, the algorithm hates me." It's like, no, you just don't know your fucking messaging.
Yeah.
Like, do the work, guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like, I think that's a really great way for us to wrap this episode, because our next one will probably be a little bit more of a deep dive of like leads, messaging, and ads training, I think, or I don't know. What do you reckon, babes?
All right, we'll see what's in the works.
We did
Surprise!
it. Our first episode.
Woohoo!
Yay! We didn't kill each other.
What?
I'm
Why
joking.
would we kill each other now? Wait
And
until you get off this thing.
I know, motherfucker. You said this about me. You cunt. Threw my shoe at you. I do have to say one thing. You move a lot.
I'm ADHD.
I know. I'm like, Bubby, you can't.
can't.
Oh, actually, that's what we need to talk about next time. Your ADHD.
Yes, my ADHD.
That was a big thing that changed. But anyway, that's another episode.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I keep moving.
I was like, fuck, stop moving.
I saw you looking at me at one point there. I was like,
what are you
is
doing?
she telling me to stop moving?
But anyway, this is our first episode of many episodes together with Say It With Your Chest.
Woo-hoo.
Before we wrap this up, what's one thing you want to get off your chest, Jordan?
Ooh, yes. Look, a pet peeve of mine is not doing the fucking work and bitching about it. Just do the fucking work. Take responsibility. Do the thing. You've paid for a fucking coach to get you from A to B. The quickest way forward is to follow their fucking path. Do the work.
Yes,
'Cause
king.
that's a pet peeve of mine.
Oh, what do I
about
want to
you?
get off my chest? I want to get off my chest. Okay, my biggest thing, my rant, my fucking pet peeve is the people online that say that they're a fucking successful coach, or they say they do all this stuff for their clients, but behind the scenes, they're actually the most inauthentic, pretend, fake, nasty people out there. And I'm seeing more and more of that at the moment. I've had horrible experiences, to be fair. And that's the thing I wanted to get off my chest. It's fuck off those fake, pathetic coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Fake! Get off! Mic drop, man! And that's it.
Woohoo!
Woo! So we're back.
I'm done.
Thanks, babe. Say it with your chest. I am your host, Tamara Meyer, and co-host, Jordan. Thanks for having us, guys.
See you guys.
I remember the first time I spoke on stage. My heart was racing, palms sweaty, voice was shaking. I was terrified. Not because I didn't know what to say, but because deep down I was afraid of being seen. I was afraid of my own power. But here's the truth no one tells you. Speaking isn't about perfection. It's about connection. When you step onto stage, whether it's a room of 10 or 10,000 people aren't just listening to your words. They're feeling your energy. They're watching to see, does this person believe in what they're saying? Does this person believe in themselves? The power to command a room comes from owning your story, not performing a script. That's what amplifies your voice, and that's what creates impact. I spent years shrinking myself, dimming my light, thinking I had to sound like everyone else to be taken seriously. The moment I let go of the performance and I chose to lead with my truth, my voice changed, my business changed, my life changed, and that's what I want for you. Because when you learn to speak with authority, to lead with conviction, to show up as the fullest, boldest version of you, you don't just inform, you transform. Own your message and create the kind of presence that moves people into action, because your voice is your greatest asset. It's time to use it. So if you're ready to stop shrinking, if you're ready to step into the leader you were born to be, join me at Show Up and Speak Live. The mic is waiting, the world is waiting, and so am I.